Hey, what is going on, guys? In today's video, I want to have a conversation about double pump as it is confirmed to come back in the OG mode on December 6th. So, in today's video, we're going to have a conversation about what we know, and then we're kind of going to use our knowledge of playing OG projects with double pump and historical stats to have a conversation about where I think balance is going to lie. We'll be focusing on draw speed, damage, range, and wall damage. Okay, let's start out with what we know first. So we know Double Hump is coming back in some capacity, and we know it's going to have the OG model. And honestly, that's about it. Well, that's great that it's coming back, as it's exciting to see it again after 6.5 years. We don't know the damage. We don't know pretty much anything balance related. So it's really a guessing game over how powerful Double Pump is, and I'm going to try and make an educated guess on where I think it could possibly land, but there's no way to know for sure. Let's start with draw speed. Draw speed, I think, is the most important part of double shotgun balancing because the draw speed dictates how fast you can effectively fire. When you're alternating between two shotguns, if you have a short draw speed, you can rapidly clip people out. But if you have a long draw speed, you have to be more careful with your timing, and it takes longer to do damage. If we think back to the historical Season 1 pump, the draw speed is insanely fast. It's pretty much the same as every other weapon, like the standard AR, the SMGs, the burst AR. It's just ridiculously fast, right? Imagine that draw speed on the pump shotgun. And that means that double pump was insanely busted in Season 1 and 2. Arguably in the running for the most powerful gun of all time. I don't think it's the most powerful gun of all time, but it's definitely up there. With the ability to also one-shot, you can clip people out ridiculously quickly. It's just insanely busted. And in the current version of Fortnite, the pump does draw a bit slower than that. It draws at around 450 milliseconds the last time I did a test, and that's still pretty quick. Not as fast as the historical version, but still fast. And if they keep that historical draw speed, it will be very powerful. A good reference point is ECFN Season 7, if you ever played double pump with the green and blue pumps. It draws at the same speed, and that draw speed is very fast. And it's still going to be very powerful with that version, but maybe a bit less so. Maybe instead of being in the running for the most powerful gun, it's a bit below that. One other option, which I don't find to be super likely compared to reverting back to historical stats or the existing stat, is to go back to the Season 4 statistic, which is much slower. If you played ECFN Season 4, Double Hump is still powerful, but it's genuinely very slow. And it's the slowest combo of any double shotgun combo. And if you make an edit play, you really take a lot of risk with the draw speed. I think that would be the most balanced, but I don't necessarily foresee that coming as that wasn't historical to Season 1, but just something to keep in mind as a slim possibility. Overall, I would say the draw speed I'm expecting to be quite fast, and I think double pump will be very powerful because of that. One other possibility is that they introduce the shotgun delay still, but they reduce the time. Currently, it's 1.25 seconds. If they reduce it to 1 second, double pump would probably be on the fringes of being useful, and if it feels like 3/4 of a second, I think double pump would be quite decent. So that's also another possibility, but it's hard to say if they're going to do that, but that is a possibility. Okay, let's move on to the damage. Of course, everyone remembers that the pump shotgun could one-shot. The green pump doing 237 damage is kind of hilarious when, the gold pump can't even do 200 now. But I suspect that the one-shot pump will almost certainly come back. I can't imagine a situation where they're willing to do the double pump, but they're not willing to do a one-shot pump shotgun. You're going to be able to do over 200 damage, most likely. Now, the question is, are we going to go back to the historical 90-95 base damage? I would honestly say maybe not. The pump these days is a lot more body damage than it used to, and that's going to make double pump a lot more powerful if you do over 100 base damage and a 200 critical hit. If they go back to the historical 90-95, it'll mean if you hit 2 body shots with the pump, you won't be able to clip someone out from 200 health. So that's really going to make a big difference over how powerful double pump is. Okay, let's move on to the range. Something that I think a lot of people forget is that the pump shotgun used to have an 8-tile range. From Season 1 to Season 6, you had 8-tile range, and then from late Season 6 onward, you had a 6-tile range, which we still have today. Yes, there was a brief period where it had infinite range because of the lack of damage fall-off, but I highly doubt that's coming back. Basically, what I want to say here is I don't think it's particularly likely they're going to revert the range, because a lot of people don't remember that it had more range back then, and the iconic things about double pump and Chapter 1 pumps in general were, A, you could double pump, and 2, you could do 200 damage. No one really remembers the 8-tile range. I'd honestly say this is not super relevant and unlikely to be reverted. Finally, let's talk about the wall damage. Something else that a lot of people I think forget, less so than the range, is that the pump could do 100 wall damage. Nowadays it does about 50, but before what you could do is continuously fire double pump and continuously blast out freshly built walls. That was actually a really fun feature. Playing with it in EZFN Season 4, it's a lot of fun to blast out walls. Honestly, I think this one's possible, but not super likely, because again, a lot of people don't remember this. People might not notice that the wall damage isn't buffed if it comes back without it. I think it's possible it gets buffed back to 100, but honestly, I think the wall damage will be less useful because metal starts with 110 health now. You won't be able to one-shot metal walls. In Season 4, historically, you could one-shot all variants of walls with one pump shot. You won't be able to do that with metal in the current system. So just keep that in mind. I think it would be really fun to build the one-shot walls, but just don't see it as super likely to come back. So just to summarize here, we're certain that double pump is coming back in some capacity. I'm pretty sure that the draw speed is going to remain the same, or possibly go back to the historical Chapter 1, but probably remain the same. There's a chance there could be a shotgun delay still, but I think that's unlikely. I'm almost certain 200 pumps will come back. Not certain whether the body damage will get reduced, though. Pretty certain the range will not get buffed back to 8 tiles, and I'm fairly certain the wall damage is not going to get buffed. I think double pump overall will be powerful and honestly a little bit busted, but not completely busted like it was in historical Season 1. Of course, though, I'm making the best educated guesses that I can come up with based on what I know playing with double pump and OG projects, and just think about what Epic is most likely to do, but I could be totally wrong here. It's kind of a wild card situation, so we'll just have to wait and see. And with that, I hope this video was interesting, and I'll catch you in the next one.